I've told the Vice President of El Salvador that I may be the first senator, member of Congress to be in El Salvador, to come down to El Salvador, but I won't be the last.
That was Maryland's U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen after returning from El Salvador just a few days ago. During that trip, he was able to meet with Kilmer Abrego Garcia, the man the administration sent to a Salvadoran prison because of what they called an administrative error. They have since been refusing to get him back, despite courts essentially telling him that they must. Senator Van Hollen said when he was on that trip to El Salvador that other members of Congress would be coming behind him. You saw him there say upon his return, "I may be the first, but I won't be the last." He has turned out to be right about that in more ways than one. And this is interesting. Yesterday, we saw 4 Democratic members of Congress, 4 up-and-coming young Democrats, Robert Garcia, Maxwell Frost, Maxine Dexter, and Yasemin Ansari, all themselves traveled to El Salvador to demand answers about the people Trump has sent to that country to be held potentially forever in that Salvadoran prison. But we're also seeing other Democratic members of Congress show up on this issue, bodily show up in other ways as well. We've talked on this show about the case of a man named Mohsen Maddow. He's a legal permanent resident. He's got a green card. He was summoned to appear for his citizenship test to take the final step to becoming a citizen. They then arrested him when he turned up for that test. His friends had feared that something like that might happen to him. Mr. Maddowi's friends in Vermont, they had made plans to respond in case he was taken. That's why we have footage of them taking him. They had lined up legal representation for him, made a communications plan. They basically strategized about the best ways to support Mr. Maddow if Trump's agents, in fact, came and got him, which they did. Since his arrest, Vermonters have been protesting outside the immigration jail where he's being held. And now Vermont's junior U.S. Senator, Peter Welch, has showed up bodily to go meet with him. He showed up at that immigration jail to meet with his constituent.
How is it you're staying so passive despite your circumstances?
Thank you for the visit. It really means a lot, and it reassures me of the support that I have from you and from the Vermonters as well, my people, the people of Vermont. I'm staying positive by reassuring myself in the inevitability of justice and in the deep belief of democracy.
The reason Senator Peter Welch was able to visit his constituent, Mr. Maddow, in Vermont, is because there was that swift reaction to Mr. Maddowi's arrest. That allowed for very fast legal intervention in which a court was able to stop the Trump administration from taking him out of Vermont and shipping him to another state. Most other people have not been as lucky. Many of the other people who've been snatched off the street by Trump's agents have been shipped to other immigration prisons like the ones they've got set up in Louisiana. That includes people like Mahmoud Khalil, the Columbia University student who had a green card. He was in the U.S. legally, but he was arrested by ICE and imprisoned and slated for deportation because he participated in campus protests. Also in a Louisiana immigration prison is Rumesa Ozturk, the PhD student and Fulbright scholar who was snatched off the street in Massachusetts by masked agents who then stuffed her into an unmarked car. They flew her to multiple immigration prisons and jails before sending her ultimately to Louisiana as well. Well, today, yet another group of Democratic members of Congress and senators decided to bodily show up and try to do something about this. They went to Louisiana to go meet with Mahmoud Khalil and Rumesa Ozturk, among others. The lawmakers on that trip included U.S. Senator Ed Markey, Congressman Benny Thompson, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, Congressman Jim McGovern. They were all led by Louisiana Congressman Troy Carter.
From our communications with these individuals, they're frightened, they're concerned, they want to go home. They're happy to see that members of Congress are here to listen, to take good notes, to go back to Washington, to ensure that due process is granted, health care is provided, and fairness is the rule of the day.
Joining us now from Louisiana is Democratic Congressman Troy Carter. He sits on the Homeland Security Committee. He led this delegation today to these immigration facilities. Congressman Carter, thank you very much for being here tonight. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Can you tell me more about this delegation that you led today, what you were able to see, who you were able to meet with, what you learned?
We're very fortunate to have a bicameral delegation of members, along with the ranking member the Homeland Security Committee, Benny Thompson, United States Senator Edward Markey, Ayanna Pressley, and Jim McGovern, the three from Massachusetts. Of course, the ranking member Thompson is from Mississippi. We had an opportunity to visit both the facility in Gina and in Basile. We had an opportunity to meet with Mahmoud Khalil, to sit with him for just about an hour and to talk about the concerns that he has, to talk about the atrocities that he's dealing with. He was very clear to share with us that his past, his present, and all of his work definitely is demonstrative of the fact that he is not anti-Semitic, that in fact, he was working for peace and advancing the causes of a two-state solution where Palestinians and those of Israel could get along and live separately in peace. He also was very clear that he is absolutely against Hamas and any terrorist acts. So the fact that he is being charged with these trumped-up charges, that our Secretary of State seems to have attempted to use him as a scapegoat, to use him as an example, is ridiculous, unfair, and unconscionable. Clearly, this individual's ability to exercise his First Amendment right, freedom of speech, is being challenged. Listen, in America, just because we disagree with you, you may not like what a person says, you may find their comments to be opposite of your philosophies, but in America, we're protected by free speech. And Mr. Khalil clearly is a victim of having his First Amendment denied and his Fifth Amendment of due process. This has been a process where these individuals were not even told why they were arrested. There was no warrant given for their arrest. Same thing with Rumesa and with Wendy Brito. Both of these, Wendy Brito from my home state of Louisiana, is a mother of three, married to an American citizen. She's been here for 17 years. Her children are all American citizens. She serves as a volunteer in the public school system. She went for her routine checkup with ISIS and she never made it home. Rumesa wrote an op-ed. She did nothing else. She wrote an op-ed that someone didn't like and was snatched, literally snatched from the street and taken to multiple facilities before ultimately landing in Louisiana. We had an opportunity to visit with her, to talk about her fears, to talk about her concerns, to look at the facilities where they're clearly, while they appear to be healthy, there are a lot of challenges at these facilities that require immediate attention. I'm proud that my members of Congress joined me today to not only shed light, but to also give hope that they are not forgotten and that we're going to continue to fight for the rule of law and for the tenets of our Constitution that suggest that we're all free and that our freedom of speech should not be taken lightly.
What can you tell us about the conditions of confinement both at Basile and at Gina? These facilities are really far from where some of these people were arrested and where they've lived. I think part of the administration's thinking is that this is a far-flung area for most people, and so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. Were you and your colleagues today able to discern anything about the conditions in which people are being held?
Well, there are multiple reasons why I think they're at this particular facility. One, it is in Louisiana, where they will be have to be heard by the most conservative Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in Louisiana, Fifth Circuit Court, rather, which is one of the most conservative benches in our country. Number two is that this facility, unlike the other facilities across the country, have a 72 max day, hour stay rather, 72 hours. In Louisiana, the stay can go up to a week, a month, multiple months. And so they are sent here in a facility that's very difficult to get to, very challenging for any lawyers or advocates to be able to access, or family members. The facility itself appeared to be clean, in fact, suspiciously clean, like perhaps there was some sprucing up before we got there. The other thing that was noted is that all of the detainees we spoke to indicated that it is very cold, that they aren't allowed to have blankets. The temperature is very uncomfortable for them. Many of the women in the facility indicated that they were not given proper feminine products as regularly as needed. In some cases, not even given toilet paper. That is absolutely unacceptable. They share with us that they are frightened, many of which have not been given dates of when their court hearing will be. They're there. Many said they don't know why they're there and were not able to share with us what the next steps are. Some now have lawyers, although many of them said that they asked for lawyers for days before finally being granted an opportunity to speak to counsel.
Louisiana Congressman Troy Carter, thank you for leading this delegation and for talking to us about it tonight. This is a really, really, really important part of this system that has not had enough eyes on it, particularly people doing the kind of oversight and reporting back that you are doing. I expect that this will be the first of many such delegations, but thank you for helping us understand this first one today. Really appreciate it, sir.
Thank you very much. We're committed to staying on top of this, keep the lights on to protect freedom of speech. Rather, it's with these 4 people who are well known, these names that you've heard. But there's so many others that we don't know their names, we don't know their faces, but they likewise deserve the kind of attention to protect their freedom of speech, protect their civil liberties, whether it's walking down the street or on any college campus.
That's exactly right. Thank you, sir. Congressman Troy Carter from Louisiana. We'll be right back. Stay with us.